Thank you, Mr.
I agree.
Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Shaheen. Senator Fischer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Mr. Feinberg, both to you and your family today. And thank you for putting yourself forward in these times to serve your country. Historically, nuclear deterrence has been the highest priority mission of the Department of Defense. Our triad protects the United States every single day from the only true existential threat that we face. And nuclear weapons guarantee our sovereignty. So, Mr. Feinberg, do you believe that nuclear deterrence should be the department's highest priority mission?
Yes, it's one of our very top priorities.
Is it the highest priority, sir?
It might be. I'd like to get, if I'm able to get in there and look at all the classified data on all our problems, I could certainly answer more directly, but there's nothing that could be more important than our nuclear modernization.
Today, for the first time in history, we face two peer competitors when it comes to our nuclear posture that we have. We have a current force posture that was designed in 2010 when the threat environment looked different, before Russia and China modernized, before they expanded their own arsenals. So I look forward to being able to have conversations with you in the future on the importance of making that, continuing to make that the department and our nation's highest priority. Mr.
Senator,
Feinberg,
I was thinking that one reason why I hesitated on it's the most important is clearly modernization is key. But we also need hypersonics, because if our enemy can carry nuclear capability on things faster than ours, it's a big problem. So I think it's a coordinated effort.
it's all part of the problem that we have when we have those peer adversaries.
Yes.
Threatening this country every single day. If confirmed, would you work with the Secretary to make sure that these modernization programs continue as best they can on schedule, and if opportunities present themselves to accelerate those programs, would you be supportive of that as well and work with the Secretary on that?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Feinberg, given your experience in the private sector, if confirmed, how would you foster greater innovation inside the department, and what can the department do to make itself more attractive to private sector companies in developing that innovation?
Well, right now, with the way our programs work, it's very rigid, gold-plated, endless rules, and the big defense contractors have an advantage just based on how contracts work, bids and proposals. The process is cumbersome, and often they win simply because they're better at it. So if we can simplify that process, make it fairer, not be as inflexible, that will promote competition, so competing companies can worry more about capabilities than the process. I also think that the cost of our very tough, rigid requirements sometimes is too gold-plated, which makes companies without as much capital unwilling to take the kind of risk. Some of that risk is unnecessary in development. So a lot we can do by getting into the program detail, line by line.
Good.
My view is the deputy has to go program by program, line by line, not hand it off to somebody else.
Okay, good. Mr. Feinberg, there's currently efforts underway to force the Department of Defense to vacate critical bands of spectrum, including the lower 3 band and the 7-8 gigahertz band. And this would mean that the department would not be allowed to operate radar systems or satellite systems that allow our warfighters to detect, to discriminate, track, and shoot incoming missiles and enemy targets. I adamantly believe that forcing national security systems to vacate these bands would be detrimental to national security. It would degrade our missile defense capabilities when we should be aggressively pursuing an Iron Dome for America. That would be off the table if these were vacated. However, I also understand that sharing these bands with commercial entities may be possible. This would potentially allow DoD systems to operate and coexist with commercial systems in the same exact bands without forcing us to lose these capabilities. Do you believe the Department of Defense must have meaningful co-leadership role in interagency determinations about the future of federal spectrum? Should DoD be at the table to be involved in those decisions?
Totally agree. We need spectrum to defend our country. We also need commercial use of it to develop the technologies that will defend our country. Best solution is sharing, but we have to get it right. Make sure sharing can be done without risk. That needs to get tested. And until that's clear that it can be done without risk, we must protect DoD's spectrum position.
Thank you. It must be clear that it can be done without risk,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, Senator, 100%.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senator Fisher. Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr.